everybody. Welcome to the September 26th, 2025 edition of News from the Front Lines of Business. David Huff, CPA, PFS, um, founder of the firm here. So this is going to kind of shorten things up a little bit. I know in the past we've kind of talked about several things, but here we are. October's upon us here, so fourth quarter's coming up. Tax planning is definitely something to kind of push to the forefront. Especially if you've been kind of putting it off for a while. Now is definitely the time to buckle down and get some things done. But before we kind of go into some of the basics of it, I guess I'm noticing more and more TikTok videos and things like that from proclaimed tax strategists. So just kind of the reason why you may be also seeing a similar uptick. Everybody hates paying taxes, so it's a pain point that's kind of universal. And I guess number 4 and 5. This is something I just Googled kind of quickly to kind of see what's causing this. Is there some thing? It's really nothing new. I guess it's more of a marketing deal. Some of these companies are trying to put out educational content that's really just a marketing message disguised as some kind of tax tip. And of course, because of the complexity of the code and the appeal of these loopholes, people want to feel like they're doing something that not everybody else can do. So I guess these guys are getting some traction. So just beware. So there's a lot of garbage out there. But at the end of the day, I guess when we look at these things, we want to spend all the time just talking about who can actually benefit from tax planning. So a lot of these ads, I've seen it on Facebook, TikTok, all over the place, and they make it sound like just anybody can all of a sudden take that tax hit down to zero from wherever it is. So we know obviously that's too good to be true, right? But the people who can really benefit from tax planning, I would say, for the most part, if you're about to begin a business or a real estate investing venture, clearly this is the point where tax planning can really save you a lot of money and a lot of headaches, and really probably the most valuable time at all is to get something done at the beginning when it's easier to set up entities and do the kind of things that need to be done. So again, that's number one. I guess number 2 would be somebody who has some large windfall, like an inheritance or a bonus or a big property sale. Something like that, where all of a sudden things were going along pretty smooth and you might not have even noticed that you had any kind of tax problem, and then all of a sudden influx of income, you're in a higher tax bracket. Clearly this is a situation where you can benefit, and we definitely would want to look at this if possible before that type of transaction happens, because sometimes particularly on the property sale side of things, some of the strategies that you would want to utilize can't be done after the fact. So talk to somebody ahead of time whenever possible is definitely better. And then I'll just mention who's not really going to be a good candidate for any kind of tax planning. So if your only source of income is wages, there's not very much that you can do. So most any kind of even intermediate or advanced level strategy is not really going to be worth it. And if you're in the lower those lower 2 tax brackets, the juice isn't worth the squeeze is what you're going to find a lot of times, because if it's not a large amount of tax savings to be had, spending $1,500, $2,000 on these tax planning engagements, it's rarely going to generate a return on investment that really makes sense. So keep that those tips in mind. So just basically, so now we got, I guess, different levels really. So and roughly I would say it kind of equates to whatever your adjusted gross income is, because that generally equates to a particular tax bracket. So on this basic and intermediate level, I would say if you're in the 24% personal bracket on down, so if you're in the 10, 22, 24, 12, up in there in those brackets, that's where these strategies kind of make sense. And advanced levels, everything up above that. So at the basic level, we have our basics, IRA, HSA, Roth IRA, and if you have a business, you can also have a SEP IRA. So making those retirement plan contributions are usually a good thing to do with any kind of excess profit, particularly if you don't need it for something in the short term. Those are great ways to save some money intermediately. charitable contributions. There's been some changes now where more people are going to benefit from making charitable contributions. So naturally you want to give as much as you can, but there's certain limitations that some people are going to be subject to that may cause you to limit your contributions to some extent, but it's still available. Reimbursable plans. So that's a way for if you have a small business to reimburse you for certain expenses. Augusta rule has to do with rental exclusions. Then your LLC and tax election. So if you got this new thing going on that you're just setting up, sometimes, most every time an LLC is going to be a good idea, but sometimes it's not. And sometimes once you get the LLC set up, there are certain tax elections you can make that determine how that income is taxed that can come into play. And that's something that's kind of there's some basic things you want to look at whenever you have that situation. And other fringe benefits, health insurance and whatnot. Real estate professional, so if you're going to be having rentals and maybe some losses, there are some rules there, if you can qualify. So a lot of these people that you see online make it look like everybody can qualify, and that's definitely not the case. But if you qualify, some of these other rules are going to be more of an advantage to you. So look at that. And then on the advanced level, qualified retirement plans, defined benefits, so things when you have high levels of consistent high income, holding companies. So sometimes you might want to have, if you have a lot of different things going on, one kind of company that's at the top of the pyramid there that kind of holds everything below it. Like kind of exchanges. So when you have a large capital gain on something, there's ways to exchange it into another similar asset and not recognize gain on that. Oil and gas development, charitable remainder trust, energy conservations and foundations. Those are all very advanced topics, and if you have a interest in that, definitely message us below the video here, and we have some in-house materials on that are more educational, summarized versions just to see if it's even worth it. But we do have more information on all these topics, basically, if you want to learn more. But we'll probably spend some more time over the next few weeks expanding on these things, because a lot of these things are commonly misunderstood, and I think we probably could do a video every day pretty much on these things going forward. So that's it. So tax planning, it's the time to do it. So do it. Be careful of all the junk you see out there, and we'll see you out there next week.